you got to pursue something that gives you life, that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning.
Welcome back to another episode of the Lodgz podcast. The Lodgz podcast. Welcome back.
You have to get creative. Like, your content can't just be like you sitting there.
I have to, master this D-list athlete if I'm going to get to C-list, to B-list, to A-list.
Whole slogan was basically, you're famous enough, just being yourself, just be you.
A ruthless pursuit to be the best.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Lodgz podcast. This is episode 60, and with us, we have an incredible guest today. I'm really excited to jump into it. We have Pavan Lakhat, which I know I just told you I'm going to try to get that last name.
That was perfect, man. That was perfect. How are you guys doing? It's Pavan. Just saying what's up, man. I'm glad to be a part of this podcast.
For sure. And dude, I mean, really, really excited to have you. A lot of accolades. So for everybody listening, he's a professional Madden player. He was the 2019 Madden Club Series champ. And he is ranked number 6 on all-time Madden Championship Series money list with almost 150K in earnings on Madden. So, I mean, hey, congrats to everything you've done up to now.
Appreciate that. It's been a long journey. And, when I first started it, I definitely did not see myself, getting this far, I guess, this successful, and the amount of time I have done, but it's only just made me go harder. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, like I was just telling you, I guess we can just throw it way back, and if you just want to tell everybody a little bit about just like who you are, where you grew up, kind of what you were into as a kid, and kind of how you got into competitive play, and just give us that background story. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Juan said, I'm Pavan Lakhat. I'm 20 years old. I was born and raised in California, born in Modesto, and I've been raised in Yuba City, California since 2006. So, 14 years to this point. I love Yuba City. It's a little smaller on the, spectrum of, cities. And that's kind of like it like that. It's not too much going on. Just get to focus and not worry about any other drama going on the outside world. But yeah, I graduated in 2018 at the Yuba City High School, the Honkers, I should say. And currently I am enrolled at Yuba City Community College, just, taking classes there just to have that on the side. I know a lot of people, go full-time on Madden, and I definitely am full-time on Madden, but, I still want to have that thing on the side, just for my parents and just for some guidance, to stay disciplined and all that good stuff, stay on schedule. And yeah, Juan said I have many accolades. I would want to say I just started playing Madden around high school, just to play. I was a huge Madden Mobile fan. If you guys know Madden Mobile, when it came out, it did come out around like 4 or 5 years ago. And when it came out in my high school, it was super hot. I honestly want to say I got everyone into Madden Mobile in my high school. And, at first I was on my own little wave playing it, enjoying it by myself. And then, so many people started playing it. And I'm like, you know what? I need something new. So I went, got a PS4. It was around this Christmas time. I got it kind of on sale. This is when the PS4 was new and on the scene. So it was kind of hard to get it. But, thankfully my mom helped me get it, purchase it for me. Because, at the time I had no job, I had no money. And, shout out to them for that. And, from there I got Madden. It was Madden 15. And I got it for pretty cheap, because Madden usually comes out, August, September, somewhere before the NFL season starts. And I actually got it around Christmas time for, I think either $40 or $30. And, if it was going for $60 at the time, I doubt I would have bought it. But, luckily for me, it was on sale. And I bought it, and from there it just took off. And the first mode I played, like always, is Madden Ultimate Team MUT. If you guys play Madden, you know what MUT it is. MUT it's like the biggest mode by far in Madden. It's basically like fantasy. You get to build your team from old legends to new legends, to current players, to let's just say I have Randy Moss and Julio on the same team. That's super OP, and that's what makes the mode so fun. They never had that in real life, where you could, you would always think, oh, what if these two play together? And Madden, you could actually do that and see how it work. And it's really fun like that. I got into MUT super late in Madden 15 around mid-year. So, I grinded my way up. At first, I had no idea what I was doing with all these cards and power-ups and everything. And it's kind of foreign if you don't know Madden, or if you're new to Madden, it is super foreign. Usually you think of Madden, you just think, oh, regs gameplay. Let's just say Niners, Chiefs, or something like that. But this is a whole new mode to Madden, and I was just amazed and astonished by it. And from there, I wanted to master it. Something new, I wanted to tackle it rather than the old or the norm. So, I got into that, and thankfully I did, because it really did become the future of all types of Madden. And, that's kind of like what the competitive modes are on now is Madden Ultimate Team. But, from Madden 15 is where I started. I kind of sidetracked a little bit there.
No, you're good.
Yeah. And then, throughout the years, it was a sophomore when Madden 15 came out. Throughout the next couple of years, 2-3 years, I actually was just grinding the game, staying up late at night, playing, meeting friends, getting on Twitch. And it was in Madden 17, and I was a senior in high school when the MCS first came out. It actually came out in Madden 16, but I think it was for like 2 tournaments, and really no one kind of knew what it was. But Madden 17 is the first like official full year the MCS came out, and the MCS stands for Madden Championship Series. Basically, it's a league of 4 tournaments, 4 to 5 tournaments per year, events they call them. And these events are in-person live events where, let's just say I qualify for an event on my online, on my PS4, Xbox. That's kind of how you do it. Let's just say I'm good enough to have a really good record. And not only that, you have to have a really good record for the, let's just say it's like a certain amount of time. So, a qualification process could go from 1 to 2 months. Let's just say I have a really good record, make it inside the boundaries of, usually it was 96 people or something. There are 128 people. The best 128 people per console got to make it into this tournament. And from there, you got to play online and knock each other out. And it's only got like one life, man. So for the most part, people, the best of the best, were making it, into the online qualification. Not only that, they were making it to the live event from their online console, online home. And from there, they got to go to these places like Burbank, California, LA, Orlando, just a whole bunch of spots, Houston, Minnesota. This was in Madden 17, a whole bunch of spots, get to travel the world for free. I know myself personally, I'll talk about this a little bit later, my experience, but I'm just kind of seeing what I saw. Now, all these guys were traveling and going places just from playing Madden. And me being 17, 18 years old at the time, watching these Twitch tournaments, I fell in love with Twitch after I discovered it. And I would always watch it, specifically, like I'd always watch it in Spanish class. So I took Spanish, and I vividly remember watching 3 to 4 people that I kind of idolized, like these pro players, these pro competitors, kind of idolized them, and just looked up to them. I kind of wanted to be them. And then from there, I just set out to do my best to be like them. And, just watching these people from my class, my high school class, that to straight going home and getting on the game is kind of where I started off with that. And then Madden 18 was actually the first time I made a tournament. So Madden 18, I made the NFL Club Series. This is a tournament which is basically, there's 32 teams in the NFL. A Club Series is basically you get to represent one of those 32 teams. So I'm a Raiders fan. I represented them, and I've represented them for the past 3 years in Madden 18, Madden 19, Madden 20. Madden 18 was the first year I was, lucky enough to represent them. And it's like you have to beat 3 other players. You don't have to beat 3 other players, but there's 3 other players in your path to being the Raiders representative. So there's someone named Bam who was kind of the favorite, and then there's 2, not so known competitors. And then there was myself. At that time, I was super unknown. But this was in Orlando. I got to travel to Orlando, and I was 17 at the time, so I had to bring my pops. So, once he saw that, he's like, okay, you could go full board on this. Because, usually your parents are so skeptical, right? About, oh, this is a scam. This is not it. This is not like that. But once they saw the plane tickets, 2 plane tickets, once my father saw the venue, he saw everything. And it was just, he was amazed. And obviously I already knew he was going to be amazed. So, I just had to, sometimes they have to see it to believe it type of thing. And, I got there, I got blessed enough and, played very good to beat the 2 other opponents. And I got to represent the Raiders. And from there, if you get to represent your team and, beat out the other 2 other 2 to 3 players, you get to go in a final 32-man tournament based on division. So
Okay.
the AFC West, the Raiders are in the AFC West. I had to play the Chargers representative, and this is all based on record. So I think the Raiders were either the 3rd seed that year or the 4th seed. They were the 3rd seed, I'm pretty sure. And the Chargers were the 2 seed, so I had to play the Chargers. And then on the other side, the Broncos and the Chiefs played. The Broncos were the 4th seed, and the Chiefs were the 1st seed, and they played. And then I beat I graded 2 ahead of myself. The Chargers representative at the time, his name is Problem Right. If you know Madden, you know who that is. They call him the GOAT of Madden. So like, you know how there's MJ and, you know, Tom Brady. He's the GOAT of Madden, the greatest of all time. And, you know, this is my first tournament. I'm 17 years old. I don't know what's going on, man. Like, I'm in this venue. I'm super like anxious, super like scared, nervous of the crowd because it's a big crowd, man. It's a super big crowd. And I just go up there and just, you know, I played way better than I thought I was going to play. I thought the anxiety was going to get to me. The nerves were going to get to me. And then it was that game, that tournament that I knew that I was like, you know, competitive. I had fire in me. I wasn't going to ever back down in one of these games. I ended up losing that game by 3. So most people thought, oh, you're going to get blown out. Oh, this is this. You're going to lose or whatever. And obviously I didn't win. But considering all the circumstances, only losing by 3, I lost on the final play of the game pretty much. He was on a 4th down. If I stopped him, I could have either extended the game to overtime or, you know, try to win it in regulation. And he got the 4th down. And from there, it was heartbreaking, but it was like, you know what? This is so much motivation for me to be better and to grow and continue to be, you know, who I am right now that, you know, I'm kind of glad. I'm not saying, oh, I'm glad I lost, but, you know, I'm glad I lost, you know. So it's just crazy because it was like 2 to 3 people rooting for me in the stands. It was my father and then like a couple people I play with. They're basically like lab mates. If you're labbing on the game, those are like my lab mates. I practice with them and stuff.
Gotcha.
And everyone else, I'm talking about probably 50, 60, 70 people were rooting for Problem. And it was just so overwhelming, but like such a great experience to, you know, witness and be a part of. And that was my first tournament. And at that time I was still in high school. I was a senior. And another funny story is 2nd semester of senior year. I don't know, like it's called the reduced schedule. You know, you get out of school pretty early. That was what it was called for me. I actually got a job to get a reduced schedule. And the whole reason to get a reduced schedule was for me to play Madden and play extra Madden. So that's kind of what I did 2nd semester. 1st semester is when I actually made the tournament.
Okay.
And then 2nd semester, senior year, I'm like, yeah, I'm going full time on this already. And I got a reduced schedule and just go home at 12 and grind the game out, get on Twitch stream. And, you know, that's kind of where I started from.
So with the reduced schedule, what was the job? Was it an actual job or did you put Madden down as the job?
Okay. So yeah, that's another good question. I actually did have a job at JCPenney.
Okay.
And what's it called? It was seasonal. So, you know, obviously it didn't last long, but you know, every day I went there, I was just thinking, I hate working at JCPenney, man. I just hate it. If there's any other way, then let me figure out the way. And obviously, I didn't make too much since it was like I only worked 4-hour shifts, probably 3 to 4 times a week. But regardless, that's still a lot for someone who's in high school and all that.
Right.
And I just didn't like it at all. I ended up like at this one Madden tournament, that my first tournament I made, I ended up making like 3 to 4 times what I had made at JCPenney working for like 2 months. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. From there, I'm like, yep, I'm never trying to get a job again. I'm going full time on this, man. I'm going to just explore and expand and grow. And that's what we've done so far.
No, that's awesome. Well, I mean, it's cool that, you know, you got in, like we're saying, and like it's been with a lot of guests we talk about. I mean, a lot of young kids, you know, basically, you know, 16, 17 years old, you're just growing up, getting huge opportunities, like you're saying. I mean, where you go to a tournament and you're making more money than you would, you know, where other kids traditionally would be making money, you know, whether it's a minimum wage job or waitering or, you know, whatever you might be doing. So that's pretty cool. And that's awesome that, you know, you're still even now, like, you know, taking classes at the community college and still trying to like do that while you're being a pro player. I mean, I respect that because I think that a lot of people or even like a lot of traditional athletes, I mean, once you get to the pro level, I feel like, you know, some do continue their education, but some don't. So, you know, kudos to you for still keeping that up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So 2018, you mentioned that, or that tournament in Orlando, that was kind of like your first tournament experience.
Yeah.
So what came next? And I mean, like you were saying, really cool that, you know, you're basically playing the GOAT, and, you know, obviously you don't win, but I mean, you still only lose by 3. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So where did you launch, or like, how did that confidence launch you from there? And where did you go to next to continue your journey?
Okay, so at that time, before making the tournament, I really wasn't known. I really wasn't respected. There was not enough respect on my name. After that, I mean, I got minimal respect. Just, you know, kind of went up a little bit, but regardless, I wasn't looking for respect or anything. I was just looking to grow and grind. And there's actually this group on Facebook called MWS, which is it's like Madden World Syndicate. And to be in this, you know, you kind of have to be known. You kind of have to be vouched in. Oh, this guy's legit for it. You know, he's cool. And after making the tournament, people were like, oh, yeah, this guy's in, definitely. And that group basically was like kind of like a little group that, you know, you could play for money. You could just kind of lab with other people. It's just a Madden group. And it was very, very cool at that time. Unfortunately, now it's not really like continuing to grow. People kind of just don't ever post in it or type in it anymore, which, you know, kind of sucks. But after this tournament, I was vouched in there. And from there, I used to play in all these types of mini, small online tournaments, money games online, and, you know, just talk to people I really didn't talk to before, or just, you know, get to know people's stories that I really didn't know who was before. And with all these little money games and little mini games and mini tournaments I played in, I used to stream them a lot. That way on Twitch, you know, people come in, view, and then that way I could get my name even more out there. Oh, you're the Raiders guy? You won Raiders Club Series? Kind of, they'd always come and ask that. Like, oh, how old are you, man? You're very young. This, and that. And, you know, that's how I built a relationship with the community and kind of, you know, got my name out there as, you know, respectable young competitor. And that's all. That happened all throughout Madden 18, the end of the year. So the tournament I played in was around December, January time. It was kind of when the Pro Bowl, the playoffs usually happen for the playoffs, for the NFL, excuse me. And after that, you know, I grinded Madden 18 out to its entirety until it switched over to Madden 19, which Madden 19 was, you know, it usually comes out August. I think it came out sometime August or something that year, or even July maybe. I'm not too sure, late July. Regardless, I grinded Madden 18 out to the entirety till its end, you know, winning some small tournaments, online tournaments, and, you know, just ongoing momentum, and never letting up off the gas. And from there, all this pent up momentum led to me just breaking out onto the scene early in Madden 19. And I specifically remember there was this one very early tournament. I want to say it was, you know, probably 2 to 3, even 4 weeks after the game dropped. And this was on Regs teams. This wasn't on MUT. And I was using the Seahawks. And I remember this was like a little tournament for, I think, up to $2,000. So the winner got $2,000. It was on this one site called Players Lounge. So this wasn't on MWS. This was on like Players Lounge. Gamer Saloon is also another site. And these sites aren't only for Madden money games. They're like for Call of Duty, for NBA 2K. They're just a money game or tournament site for a lot of other games, which is very dope that they actually have that in today's generation. But I joined that tournament. I finally turned 18. So you have to be 18 to join those. If you're listening, you want to join. I finally turned 18, so I qualified to enter this little tournament. I think I paid it in like $10, $15. And then I kept beating all these top level pro players. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually tough now, man. Last year, I really would kind of be nervous to play these guys. And, you know, that is a real thing. Sometimes people play the name instead of playing the game. And that's kind of what I used to do before I made the tournament and all this and all that. Sometimes I just play people who see my name because they'll say, oh, you're playing Pavan or you're playing this guy in the top right corner. I'll say their gamer tag or PSN. And I played people and they've just completely just played so bad compared to how I've seen them play before, just because they know they're playing a high-level competitor in the top right corner. Like, there's a difference between a free game, as in, you know, just a leaderboard game. No one's going to get nervous over that. A tournament game for your tourney life, or, you know, a money game, people will maybe start to get nervous. And that's where, if you built up a reputation of a good player, or, oh, I have good defense, oh, I have good offense, people are going to, already think that while they're playing you. So you're winning the mental game. And then from there, you just got to play a physical game of Madden. And if you, execute and not mistake, then you should be able to win those games. But going back to that tournament, I ended up winning it, beating a lot of pros in that tournament. And then from there, I guess you could classify myself as a pro. And that was just very early momentum. And from there, the first tournament of the year, of the MCS year, was on regs teams. And I honestly thought I was a favorite to win this tournament. It was in Las Vegas this time. Las Vegas. And it was just it was an awesome tournament, open format. Anyone could go and join. You just had to pay like a fee of $50, I think. Obviously, I'm in Yuba City, so I had to get a hotel room. I had to get a plane ticket, this, and that. And that's an amazing experience for me, man. I'm a young kid who gets to travel due to Madden, man. So from there, that tournament, I thought I was going to do really, really well. And unfortunately, I don't know what happened. I made some bad mental mistakes in that game. It was a round of 64 match. Winner of that goes to 32, winner of that 16, winner of that 8, winner of that 4, and the winner of that would be in the finals. And the winner of that would be the winner of it all. So it was a couple games, 5-6 games. But honestly, if you win that first tournament game, you're going to soar through it, man, especially if you're, a high-level player. I always say one phrase, the first game is always the hardest game, no matter who you're playing, because, you haven't, played as many reps or games as you would like. Once you get that first game out of the way, you're not rusty anymore. You're making your reads, you're sharp. And that one first game got me that day. And I was up like 21-10. I lost the lead, and it was just kind of heartbreaking for me. And I learned a lot of valuable lessons from that. And, I was able to bounce back. 2 months later, NFL Club Series Championship, Madden 19 this time. And I ended up winning it all. So, from the 2 months prior where I was just super down on myself, super upset, I bounced it back, used that as fuel, used that as fire. 2 to 3 months later, I ended up winning Madden 19 Club Series Championship. And that prize pool was $703,000 altogether. And the first place got $100,000. So that was like the first time in a while they had added the $100,000 prize pool, first place prize. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky enough to win it. Thanks to God, man.
Yeah. I mean, walk me through that, because you were what at that time then, 18 years old when you won that one?
I think I was 18, man. I was 18. Yeah.
So you're an 18-year-old kid, you win $100,000, and, a Madden tournament. I mean, what's going through your mind? And I mean, even walk us through that tournament a little bit if you can, like, leading up to it and kind of your reaction, your family's reaction, all that sort of stuff.
So this tournament was on a mode that I'm in love with. So inside of MUT, there's a mode called Salary Cap. And Salary Cap is kind of a mode that balances out MUT in general. So in MUT, usually you could have just all 99 overalls. I don't think that's too balanced, but, I don't know. That's other people's opinions. In Salary Cap, there's a certain cap limit. And with that limit, players have caps on it. So let's just say you're a 99 overall player. You're going to have like a higher level cap than some, 85s, 86s overalls, and vice versa to 70 overalls. 70 overalls is very low cap. In that tournament, you have to strategize and make the perfect team with a certain amount of cap that you have. This tournament was 1175. And I'll give you one example right off the top of my head. There's this 96 or 97 overall Michael Vick that had dropped at Christmas time. And this card was probably like the best quarterback in the whole game. And sorry about that.
No, you're good.
This quarterback was easily the best quarterback in the game. 96, 97 speed, high throw power. And, everyone had him on their team. And his cap was like around 132 or so. So that just kind of gives you a little example that player was worth about, let's say, 10% of my whole team's cap, which was 1175. So you got to kind of strategize about that. And I have great lab mates that kind of help me prepare for that. Their names are Henry and Allen. They're a little younger than me, but I consider them my little bros. And now they're having some really good success Madden scene, and it makes me so happy. But they helped me make a great team. They helped me find a great scheme, and honestly, we stayed under key, low key underground for like a couple weeks and months. We didn't show what we were running. We didn't stream, and this is just kind of like, it's kind of the hard thing about being a content creator guy, because obviously I want to stream, but if I have something so tough that could win me a tournament, why would I want to show it? So it's kind of, I got to find the middle, and that's what I'm experimenting with. That's what I've been doing for the past couple of years or so, past year or so. And, at that time I hid my offense and my defense, which were super high powered and super great defense, till the tournament time, which was, I think I saved it for a month, maybe two, just not playing on stream, not playing anyone and outside of any crews, just primarily playing my friends and then some other guys that I could trust. And it was well worth it, man. I remember the tournament, which this time it was in Redwood City, California, which is 2 hours away. This is why I'm pretty sure like I had a really upper advantage on people. And not only it was because my offense and defense, it's because I was just able to drive down there to Redwood City, California from where I live, whereas other people had to fly down, and they're not used to the weather. They're not, sometimes jet lag, sometimes you're just uncomfortable on a plane, man. While I just get to drive down there, enjoy the California scenery, and get in that hotel room before they're even there. So
yeah, traveling's tiring, especially if you got a couple connecting flights. I mean, it wears you out,
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And like, you just gotta be crammed up into planes sometimes. So it's just all like 100% super lucky for me that I was just able to drive down there. And from there, same thing. I had already qualified and beat those 2-3 other players to represent my Raiders team. I had done that in Las Vegas about a month prior to the tournament, and then now we're back down in Redwood, which is the final 32. This time I get to play someone named Turbo Jeff. He was a Broncos representative. Before that, actually, I played the Chiefs representative, who was not known player. And it was kind of a nice game for me. If I don't get to play someone, as I'm going to be honest, he wasn't as good as me. And I'm able to play them first and kind of get my feet settled, and not, shake those rusty, plays away. I'm able to, make a momentum move in the tournament, make a run in the tournament, they say. And that helped me a lot. So I beat the first opponent, who was a Chiefs representative. And the second guy I played was someone I'm kind of like close to. His name is Turbo Jeff. He's a really good guy. He's cool. And he's a part of this really good crew. We're kind of all crewed up now. A couple years later, we're all kind of crewed up now. But this time he was a good part of probably the best crew at that time.
Okay.
And it was kind of like 3, 4, 5 close people in my crew, and him, he had a lot of other players. So regardless, I played him. I beat him 21-28. It was a pretty close game. From there, I'm in the final 8. And in the final 8, I played the Browns representative, and his name is Joke. And if you follow Madden, you know who Joke is. He just won the latest belt in Madden 19, the final belt. He beat me. So this just shows you, he ended up winning the whole thing in Madden 20. But at this time, it was Madden 19. I played him in the final 8. And this was the biggest underdog story for me. Once again, I was kind of like underdog in this game. Not really that much respect shown on my name. Everyone's thinking, oh, Joke's going to win. Joke's going to win. And, people were even betting against me. So that's what sometimes people do in these Madden tournaments, Madden games. They're like, oh, who thinks Pavan's going to win? We could bet a little bit or whatever. Everyone was betting against me, saying, oh, who likes Pavan to win, this, and that. So I took that a little personal, reading those comments. I didn't respond, obviously, because I'm not going to waste my energy and, go out my way when I have a tournament to win. And, I use that to help me win the game. It was a super close game. And if you want to watch it, I'll link it to you guys or whatever. There's this like one clip. I'm up by, I think, 2 at the time. There's like less than 2 minutes, like 2 minutes left or so. And he's driving down the field, almost about to get 7, almost about to get 3. And I get a pick 6. I'm up 14-16. I get a pick 6 on 3rd and 10. From there, it's just over, man. I go up 9 points. He can't really do anything. I get up out my chair and I'm like, let's go, just scream so loud. Just something that, like, if you know me in real life, you know, like, besides Madden, I'm never really the one to just get super hype or just, you know, I'm a quiet individual, you know, at least at that time. So people were like, wow, he just did that type of thing. And I was just that was like just a different person, honestly, different side of me. The competitive nature just came out of me. The fierceness came out of me. And, you know, I ended up dabbing him up, saying GG's after we won. But like in the interview, I'm like, throw some respect on my name. I don't think I've got enough respect. I'm in the Final Four now, and then I kind of just went off, and that was that for that day. The next day after that, I played Blocky, who was Miami Dolphins representative. He's from Miami too, so you know, if you want a story for Madden, he is another great player to talk to. Because he's done a lot. He's made at one point he made 4 Final Fours, and that's that no one else has done that. It's very impressive. I played him. It was a really good game. Ended up winning by 12, 26-14. And in the finals, I played Ivy Strafing, the Vikings representative. And that was a high-scoring game. And once more, everyone's thinking, oh, yeah, Ryan's going to win. Pavan's going to choke. He's a newcomer. He can't win the belt. And then I just defied the odds. And it's just a good story of being an underdog. I love being the underdog no matter what. You know, if I could be the underdog, give me that role. I just embraced it really well, I feel like. And I ended up winning 31-17. And from there, you know, it was everything. Confetti fell down. A bunch of people I don't know in the stands just clapping for me, rooting for me. They had a prepaid audience, which is kind of, you know, it's whatever. But instead of the people I know, they were kind of in the back just watching, rather than they had just a prepaid audience where they, you know, just random people from the streets. They just say, oh, do you want to do this, sign up for this? And that's kind of what it was. But that's not the point. I'm just looking around like, who are these people? And then I just hold up the belt. The belt is right there. I know you can't see it. It's just in the case. I'm planning on putting it up there one of these days, and I definitely got to, because, you know, that just shows that you ran through something very tough and difficult. And, you know, got the interviews out the way, and that was that for that tournament.
No, that's dope. Yeah, maybe at the end once we finish record, maybe we can take a picture just so we can post it on socials when this episode goes live, if you want to do that.
For sure.
What for you? Because so I've had a couple people on in the past to talk health and wellness, and specifically one of my last guests, like 15 episodes ago or so, we talked a lot about mental preparedness and all that. And, you know, there's a lot of, obviously, I know you mentioned it, a lot of jitters when you're going through, and it's a different environment, you know, when you're playing in a LAN compared to, you know, being at your home and, you know, having your setup and all that. For you, is there any, like, as you've gone through these tournaments, is there any kind of like, you know, thing that you do before each tournament to kind of settle in, or kind of what's your routine to make sure that, you know, you don't let the jitters get to you and you know, overcome your experience there?
So for me, it's I just like to have fun outside the tournament. I don't want to, like, some people will be in their in the what's it called, in the hotel room, just like locked in like this, just playing, trying to get reps.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that as well. But at least the time I had won, I wasn't doing that. I was out there having fun, enjoying, like, you know, what there is. I was with my friends. Some of these guys I've never seen, but I've communicated and talked to online so many times. So we were just out having fun, getting food, just going out, playing basketball. At least for me, I wasn't thinking about the games at all. And obviously when it got later onto it, then I had to prepare a little bit more. But in the beginning, I really wasn't freaking out. Like, you know, what could you do in the beginning? You just got to play your game and win. Later on, then you have some film to watch, and that's kind of what else I was doing. I was just watching film, picking up tendencies, seeing what plays they like to run. And then in the game itself, you know, before I love the game, I'm as nervous as can be, and that's for everyone, because you're thinking about all the possible things that could happen, rather than, you know, oh, I'm gonna win. It's just natural, man, for everyone. Like, loading up into the game, I'm super, super nervous. But once the game actually starts, it's all the way, and it's on me to make those plays. What I like to do is I like to listen to music a lot, whether it's some hype stuff, whether it's something. I really don't honestly listen to soothing stuff. I just listen to straight hype music, rap and R&B and all that. Meek Mill, Kodak.
Rap artist? Okay.
Yeah, Meek Mill, Kodak, and you know, Drake got to be on there. Jay-Z are like some of my main guys I listen to a lot, especially when I'm playing. and it just puts me in a state and a flow. And the last thing I'll do is I'll chew some gum, man. So usually like me chewing some gum, it's just like, I don't know. It's just a comforter for me. And like, I get to chew the stress away, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something I like to do a lot, is chew gum, 100%.
No, I feel that. I mean, listen, some Meek Mill will pretty much get you ready for anything you got coming up. But no, that's funny. When I was a kid, so I grew up playing a lot of basketball. Like I always want to play college basketball growing up. So I played a lot of competitive and all that. But so like 8th grade year, no, I'd probably say like 6th or 7th grade year, I was a big Dwayne Wade fan, and Dwayne Wade always chewed gum. So I was the same way. In basketball games, I would always chew gum because of Dwayne Wade. And then it just became like you're saying, I don't know, I guess my mouth is moving, so it's getting some of the jitters out, but I used to.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, man. Like you would have to do it to see and understand what's going on. There's no like real, there's obviously some connection, like scientists have probably done it, but you just, if you're chewing gum, it just makes you, I guess, less anxious, and you're like, you're chewing the jitters away, or you just have some movement going on rather than just being stiff and, frozen or with fear or whatever it may be. And that's something 100% I like to do, is chew gum.
No, definitely. So you win. So this is obviously the $100,000 prize pool. You win. I mean, like, what is that like for you? I mean, what is that like? I know you mentioned that your dad, and obviously like any parent would at the beginning, they're obviously, this is the younger generation gets a lot, but for parents it can be hard to understand. But after this, like what was your reaction and what was their reaction to, really what could come out of a career and being a professional Madden player?
Man, I had no response, man. Like I was just kind of, I was just holding up the belt, kind of like motionless. I was just like, wow, I did this, and then it was really when I saw my friends' reactions. They're all hugging me and actually like dabbing me up, hugging me, really like, wow, you're a beast, bro. You did this. And I'm like, you know what, man, these guys like help me, and they could do it too. That's probably what they're thinking about. Like I'm like, dang, I could be an inspiration to some people, like obviously my friends. And then it was a little later on when like some of the more famous people in the Madden scene, like I guess GOATs, I guess you could say, were congratulating me, like the legends of the game, people who have done it before. When they were congratulating me, I'm like, you know what, I'm a part of a history. I have a legacy now. And, from here, it's a race to whoever gets the most belts when it's all said and done. And, I've won still. I'm trying to, go for more. Last year was my second full year playing. And I would say my third full year playing. So, I have plenty of time. So this year, no tournaments have happened. So, like I said, it's always a race to see who could get the most belts, because belts are bragging rights. I'm the best at that tournament. I was the best this year type of thing. And, for my parents, it was just like they were super happy and so excited to see me. And, from there, I realized like this is going to be something I'm going to be doing for the next 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. I don't know. But, I could set up a whole, at that time, I'll hopefully try to find a picture. I had no gaming setup compared to what I have now. I was kind of just playing in that little whatever that kind of, I don't even know what to say. I had my TV set up there in the back. I had my stations in the closet. All my internet and all that was there. It was just very messy, not really pleasing to look at. Rather than now, my setup is super nice. I have a desk, I have a monitor, I have an actual gaming monitor. Rather than at that time, I did have a gaming monitor, but sometimes I'll be playing on the TV, which you can't. Yeah, it's tough. You can't play on the TV, man. And 2 systems, man. It's just. It's the simple stuff that like I look back on as like I didn't have all this stuff, and thankfully now I'm able to invest in myself and grow myself into Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and just try to get my name out there to anyone else who could view this in general. Just if people could hear my name and hear my story, I can make a fan of you. Then that's just a well done job by myself.
Yeah, no, for sure. And now, like you're saying, you can invest kind of back in yourself and, upgrade your equipment, upgrade your setup, which is cool because, I mean, I think a lot of the times, when I've heard a lot of younger individuals, they'd be like, I don't really have that great of a setup, or, I don't have a gaming PC, but, you're someone else who I've talked to now. And I've talked to even a lot of streamers that have grown to make really large communities where, you sometimes just got to start out with what you got. And then, as you grow and as you earn money and as, grow your brand, then you can reinvest back into, yourself.
100%, man. 100%.
So to pivot, I guess, a little bit away from your professional career journey, I did want to ask you a bit. So after, as you're going through all this and you win the big tournament, and I know you've won some other ones, how do you as a Madden player, like how do you dedicate or where do you personally see your focus? Like, do you really want to like grind being a professional player? Do you want to be like professional with, some Twitch streaming and some YouTube content, or like, where do you value yourself, or how do you value it for yourself personally?
So that's a great question that last year I kind of took a lot of primary focus on. The love for the game and being competitor and chasing belts and legacy is always going to be there. It'll never go away from me. I've known how it feels like to be on the top. I know how it feels like to be on the bottom. I know how it feels like to be in the middle. And that's always just going to be there. For the competing side of things, I don't think I'll ever stop playing competitive Madden ever. But something that I could say that will set me aside from other players, and that's always what I want to try to be. Remember in the beginning when I said people were on Madden Mobile, so I transitioned. People were still playing Madden Mobile, like, you know what, I'm going to find my own way. That's kind of what I want to always be. Is just that doesn't mean just for Madden, and just in general. I want to be the first to start trends. I want to be the first to, be on my own wave rather than following the wave. It's now, I've been transitioning into a content creator. Trust me, there's plenty out there that do it. But I'm really trying to be the true number one person who is, a really high level pro Madden player, talking about, top 5, top 10 every single year, and who could also be a top 5, top 10 content creator every single year. And, if no one is really honest yet, the keyword is yet, been able to do it, I feel like Madden 21, I've been off to an amazing start with both things. I guess my only thing I got to say for myself is I definitely got to stream a little bit more on Twitch, but the YouTube side of things are growing. And plus, I have another thing is I want to implement is my lifestyle type of vlogs, or just in general, my lifestyle. So, I go to the gym a lot, or, when I'm traveling to these tournaments, man, I'm recording what's going on in these tournaments. That's just something other people have not yet thought of. And it's just like to think, not everyone can make a Madden tournament. Kind of sucks to hear that, but, there'll be people that will never make a Madden tournament. And, obviously I'm not trying to say that, but
right.
If they could experience that, by watching a YouTube video, or, if they could try to get better by watching me, or just, whatever it may be, it's, it's on me to, just show them what it is, I guess, to be a Madden player, pro Madden player. And then, that kind of another category I'm trying to follow. And I have been following it. So some of these setup videos, for now, because of COVID, some of these tournaments are from my home. As you see, multiple cameras in the back. I just did another video the other day, probably 2 weeks ago, a week ago, about setting up all this equipment, because there's a new tournament coming up next week for myself. It's not a big tournament, but it's still something very cool. And I'll show you some details on it later on the text. And just setting this up, man, setting up all this equipment. People might be curious to see what I got or what it is. And, boom, like that. Or a friend comes in and sits over there in the corner, records my live reactions of me playing in one of these tournaments, or just even in real life when the tournaments are back to being in person. There it is. Like, we're going to go to the tournaments and shoot myself playing and locked in and stuff like that. That's kind of something I want to do.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think the lifestyle videos, I think the vlogs of, especially like you're saying, going to a professional tournament and being a top player at it, I think people eat that stuff up. And I think it's, I think that's the content people want to see. So I'm definitely in agreement with you on that. That's the right track to go. What about, for young players coming up, or, for maybe anyone that's listening that's younger and they're wanting to be a pro Madden player, maybe they're wanting to be, a pro 2K player, or, anything in esports. What advice do you have for them, going through it that you've gone through that you would share with them?
One thing I would say, man, is just to follow your intuition. And, if you truly believe, you can't half be with it, half not. You have to 100% commit to it. So if you truly believe that, oh, I'm a top player, or if you have that willingness to get better, that motivation to be better, and just, be a top player or top person, anything you do, you had to go 100% with it. If I went 50% with this, I would probably just be at the bottom still, as a competitor, and just in general. Like, I probably wouldn't even be on this podcast. You got to truly be like 100% with whatever you do. So for me, I did a reduced schedule to grind Madden. I really didn't want any jobs. I convinced my parents, I don't want to go back to working. I want to do this full time all the time. And, it comes with some, beliefs from other people in your area, like your family, your friends, it's who you talk to a lot. If they're kind of stuck on something, just doing whatever, as in, bad habits or whatever like that, you got to move past that and like move forward with it, focus on, getting better, growing, and all that type of stuff. And I know it's a little vague, but it's honestly the 100% truth. It's as simple as that. You have to go 100% with whatever you do. And that's like watching other people play, sacrificing a lot of your time. A lot of your time and getting in the lab and practicing these plays that other people haven't practiced rather than just copying what other people do. You got to get in there, be creative, be your own kind of person. That's what's going to take you over the top and, let you excel over some of the other opponents and competitors that may be in your way.
Yeah, no, what I love that you said is it seems like you really poised yourself to be a trendsetter instead of a trend follower. And I think that's, of anyone that's been great at anything, I think that's always the case is, you got to think a little outside of the box and you got to, think about how you can be different compared to everybody else. So, no, and definitely having a strong support circle. I feel like that's key and I know that can be tough, especially if you're like new to getting into esports and you're trying to be a pro player. Cause I understand that sometimes, I don't know, like, did you have it sounds like you had some pretty supportive friends, but did you have some friends that maybe saw it and were like, yo, I want to hang out, like, let's go out and do something. And you were kind of like, no, I gotta practice or I gotta, stream or I gotta, watch my tape or whatever.
100%. Some of my in real life friends are kind of like on that in high school. Obviously high school is like, go out have fun. But for me, Friday nights, instead of going out, I was Friday nights, 9 a.m. or 9 o'clock p.m. I was playing either some type of Madden or watching some type of Twitch. And that was every single day of high school, every single night of high school for me. So, at the end of the day, I honestly enjoyed that. So it really didn't bother me at all. I'd rather be at my home. I'm kind of introverted and I'm kind of transitioning to being extroverted now. But, this is my work area. This is what I love to do. So it was as easy as that.
Yeah, no, you're in the lab and it's a good feeling when you love what you're doing. Cool. Well, I guess to start to wrap things up, the last question I want to ask you that I thought would be cool to hear about, and I know you've already shared obviously some cool moments, but what would you say has been like one of your, maybe one or two of like your favorite moments that you've had this far, like in your career since you started? Like what's really memorable for you?
For me, man, it's the Raiders. So I remember starting up my Madden Twitter account. At that time, I called it Madden Twitter account because I used to be afraid to like say, oh, I play Madden. I don't know why. It's like that happens with other people too, bro. I've been talking to other players and people. I guess people like don't want to know, like they don't want people to know, oh, I'm successful playing Madden or playing video games, which is weird. But that's that's life right now. That's the future. That was me like probably 2 to 3 years ago. So I don't know why. Like I said, I'm gonna try to go back and reminisce on why. But I was a little like shy to share that. But that's like starting up Twitter. I had like 10, 15, 20 followers, and I'm not saying I have 100,000 at least yet, man. At least yet. But on Twitter, I have like 6,000 followers now from like a 3-year span. And one thing I'm super excited and truly happy about is the Raiders now follow me on Twitter and they like my tweets here and there, and they, show me some content. Like, let's just say I'm playing in one of these tournaments. They're going to clip one of my dope plays and post it to their Twitter. Sometimes that's happened before, man. And it's just like, I have a real connection. Like I would say half or a little under half, maybe 30% of my Twitter followers, Instagram followers are legitimate diehard Raider fans. And that's another community I built that I got to keep pounding away at that community still. Like, we just have a nice community going on right there. And that's just super dope to see, man. Like I said, 2-3 years ago, I had no followers, no nothing, to now, the Raiders are sometimes shouting me out on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever it may be. And that's just super exciting for me.
Yeah. No, that's legit. And that's exciting. Not many people can say, that an NFL team is tweeting at them, especially being a video game player. I think that's Pretty legit. Did you have? I was like looking through your Instagram. Did you have Ocho Cinco tweet at you too?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
tweet? Okay.
I actually did. Unfortunately, we didn't play. I'm gonna hit him up one of these days and see if we can play. But this was the time of the Madden Bowl, which was in May last year, and it was from our home. And Cinco said something very sly, very slick. He would say, "I would beat these two guys if we were playing on MUT." At that time, like I said, it was salary cap the tournament one was playing on. But that's just dope to see that Ocho Cinco follows competitive Madden. He knows what's going on. And he responded to me. He said, let's set it up or something. I forgot what he said. But, unfortunately, we didn't get that to go through. But, hey, I mean, there will always be, hopefully, another time. I'm sure I'll get a shot to play him one of these days. And, when I do, that's going straight to the YouTube and straight to the Twitter and straight everywhere. And, trust me, that's going to be super dope to see.
I'm sure it'll happen. Listen, it's cool to see a lot of, traditional pro athletes really starting to embrace like their love for gaming and collaborating.
It's happening, man. It's happening right in front of our eyes, and people really don't realize that. And like, hopefully 5 to 10 years from now, it's to a point where that shit is super common. It's super common rather than now it's kind of like a little rare occurrences. It happens definitely a lot, but not as much as I think it'll happen in a couple of years, man. Trust me, it's going to be crazy.
No, it will be. It will be. It's gonna be exciting. Well, like I said, that kind of wraps up what we got. Man, I appreciate you coming on. It was really cool to hear your story. I only had a couple esports players, pro players come on, and I want to hear for some more pro players because a lot of times we'll have stuff from the business side. So appreciate you like sharing your story and your perspectives and thoughts and all that. Well, for everybody listening, if you guys listen on Apple Podcasts, we will drop some links to his socials on there, but just for you to shout it out real quick, like where are some of the best places if people want to check out your YouTube, your Twitter, where can they find you at?
So every social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, it's at Pavan Lakhat, and I'll spell it out for you. Pavan Lakhat, no spaces, no underscores. Simple as that. You can find me anywhere with that simple at. Now, obviously, YouTube, just Pavan space Lakhat, Pavan Lakhat. Appreciate it.
Nice. Well, Pavan, I appreciate it, man. Thank you again for coming on, and for all you guys listening on the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in each week, and showing the podcast some love. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and enjoying all the episodes that we're dropping. And we will catch you guys next week for another episode of the Lodgz podcast.